Hi guys, welcome back to Storytime. Anyways, we've been reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the deep end in parts. And so I already finished part 2, so I guess as this is part 3. So yeah, just for a little recall, So what happened was that they went camping in this national forest, and then the dad told a story about this guy who saw a weird creature, and his dog chased after the creature and he couldn't track her down in the forest. And nights like that, when there's a crescent moon, when he would hear the howl of a beagle, and then mom wasn't happy with dad. And then through the bushes where they were camping, they heard a howl. The howl of a beagle. So then Greg thought it was the ghost of Matilda, but then he realized Roderick was missing, and Dad and Roderick were playing a joke on them. And so anyways, he's continuing from where we were. If you want to have good luck for the next 1 year, subscribe and like. It's worth it. Okay, so continuing from where we left off. But it kind of backfired, because when Roderick howled, Manny jumped. And that's how Dad ended up with a flaming marshmallow stuck to his knee. Shriek! Bling! I think Dad was about to dive in the stream to put out the fire, but luckily Roderick remembered where he kept the fire extinguisher. Whoosh! Mom started giving Dad a lecture about why you should never scare people, but she got cut off by weird noises coming from the forest. At first I thought it might be another joke, but the look in Dad's and Roderick's eyes told me it wasn't. Snuffle, grunt. Whatever was out there sounded big and was coming our way, so we crawled into the camper van and locked the door behind us. Sure enough, it was a bear, but it wasn't after the trash. It was after the baked beans. Once the bear was done licking the beans off the camper van, it wanted more. And I wish we could say we stayed calm, but I'd be lying. Slobber, scream! And Dad climbed into the driver's seat to get us out of there. But the keys were by the fire, and when the bear started rocking in the camper van, I thought it was over for us. I guess Manny did too, because he managed to get sorry, it's real hard to read. I guess Manny did too, because he managed to scramble out of the window and get up on the roof. And he took the flare gun with him. Whoosh! Saturday. Last night, light from the flare scared off the bear. So when the ranger arrived at our pitch, we didn't really need to be rescued anymore. By now, our biggest problem was the marshmallow burn on Dad's knee. The ranger said it was totally reckless for us to shoot off that flare because it could have started a forest fire. Then he said we were going to have to leave the park first thing in the morning. Well, that was fine by me. We lasted one night in the wilderness, and I don't think we could survive another. When we left the park this morning, I was really looking forward to getting back to Grandma's. I knew we'd have plenty of hot water and no bears. But Mom wasn't ready to go back home yet. She said the reason we had a bad camping in time because we were too isolated. And if we went to a place where there were other people, we had more fun. Mom said she'd heard of these campsites where they have all sorts of activities for families, and everything you need is in one place. Then she started looking up nearby campsites and found one that had potential. Welcome to Paradise, Campers Eden, luxury campsite. 42 acres of well-manicured ground just off the highway. Accommodations for all budgets. Affordable family fun. Pet-friendly. Check out our swimming pool. What caught my eye was the word luxury. After a taste of real camping, I was ready for something a little more upmarket. I knew from Sunday school that Eden was another word for paradise. That sounded promising. The way I remembered, Adam and Eve got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because one of them was tempted to eat an apple from a forbidden tree. If it was me, I wouldn't have given up paradise for a piece of fruit. It would have to be for something good, like cake. It took us most of the day to get to Campers Eden, but when we crossed the bridge and got our first look of the place, I could see why they named it the way they did. We pulled up to the lodge and went inside, where a member of the staff told us about all the awesome stuff they had at the campsite, like a games room and a pool and sand pits, plus a lake with canoes and kayaks. There was also a shower block where you could take a hot shower, which was the thing Mom was most excited about. What I liked was that each pit had its own sewer hookup. The inside of a camper van was starting to smell like a monkey house, and I was really looking forward to a sewage tank getting flushed out. Mom told the member of the staff who would like a pitch with lake view, but the woman told Mom that people booked those way ahead of time, and the only spots left were when the economy locked. I guess Mom was focused on that hot shower, so she said we take whatever they had. And after we paid her for the week, we drove our camper van down to the hill to find our pitch. The further down the hill we went, the smaller the pitches got. And when we found a spot, Dad could barely fit the camper van on the concrete pad. After we parked, Mom unloaded the camping chairs while Dad tried to figure out how to flush the sewage tank. I wanted to be as far away as possible when he got that process started. So I told Mom and Dad I was going to go off and explore the campsite. I wanted to check out the games room, so that's where I went first. There were a few arcade machines in there, but nothing I was really interested in playing. Joe Hunter, Blam Blam. They had a pool table, but from I could tell, I didn't have any actual balls. Twoop. I checked out the swimming pool next, and that was kind of a disappointment too. It was full of little kids, and their parents weren't even keeping an eye on them. And nowadays, kids wear these floaty vests, so they don't even have to learn how to swim. It's not like that when I was growing up, when you had to learn the hard way. Swim! Oh my! Greg's dad just threw him into the pool. So mean. And some of the little kids drifted out into the deep end, which was a problem because people were doing cannonballs off the high board. Sploosh! There was no lifeguard on duty, so kids were pretty much doing whatever they wanted. I didn't really feel safe going in the pool, so I decided to relax in the hot tub instead. And that's when I found out that this place wasn't joking around with the pet-friendly thing. There was a snack shack in the pool area, and the laundrette and shower block were close by. I wanted to kill a little more time before I went back to our camper van, in case Dad wasn't done with emptying out the sewage tank. So I explored some of the other pitches to see what they were like. The nicest ones were the deluxe pitches that overlooked the stream. Those people had satellite dishes and fancy barbecues, and they had actual lawns that they took care of. Chick, chick, chick. I could tell the Deluxe campsite and people didn't like us economy guys hanging around their properties, though, so I didn't stick around long. Snip! The spots further down the hill weren't as nice, but each row was kind of like its own neighborhood. One of the rows had a bunch of older people in it, so I'm guessing that was the area for the retirees. A few rows down, there were families with the little kids. Some of the rows had teams, and people went kind of crazy with the decorations. A few people didn't have full-size camper vans, and I felt grateful that Uncle Gary hadn't left us one of those instead. Some other people didn't have camper vans at all. There was one area that looked like it had a full motorcycle gang in it, and I was glad we didn't end up in the neighborhood with those guys. But it might have been even worse if we'd ended up in the pet-friendly zone, because that area was a total zoo. Bark, bark, ruff, ruff, chip. I could tell when I was getting closer to the economy row because the pitches were packed a whole lot tighter, and the people had to make most of their space. Toss. Wait, I just want to tell you one thing. Why is someone cooking hamburgers on the roof of their camper van? When I got back to a pitch, Dad was cooking hot dogs on the barbecue. I wanted to ask him if he washed his hands after doing the sewage hookup, but I thought he might get annoyed with me. Mom was trying to get to know some of our neighbors, but they seemed like the type of people who like to keep to themselves. Once Dad was done cooking, we sat down at a picnic table to eat. But the people on the other roof side on us were playing beanbag toss on their roof, and someone up there had a lousy aim. Splap! While we were cleaning up the mess, I told Mom and Dad I thought coming here might have been a mistake. But Mom said it's hard to getting used to a new place, and I just needed to give it a chance. Then she reminded me we hadn't even visited the lake yet, which should be the best part. I was about to say something else when I got interrupted by a noise coming from the direction of the main lodge. It sounded like one of those air raid sirens you hear in a war movie when enemy bombers are approaching. So it put me totally on edge. Our next door neighbors seemed nervous too, and they gathered up their stuff to take inside their camper van. When Dad asked what the siren was for, our neighbors said it meant there was a skunk on the property, and everyone needed to get inside in a hurry. Well, that was enough to get us moving. We shut the door and peeked out of the window while we waited. And sure enough, a few minutes later, a skunk came sniffing around our pitch. Shuffle. We got up on the picnic table and when it started eating our hot dogs, there was nothing we could do but watch. Gobble, gobble. When the skunk was done eating, it left. After a while, the sirens stopped and everyone came back outside. And even though the skunk was gone, the whole pit smelled terrible. A sniff. That's the reason smelled bad, because there's some sort of chemicals in a skunk's glands that people can smell from a mile away. And he said if you get sprayed by a skunk, it would be 1,000 times worse. He said the best thing you could do if you ran into a skunk was to back away slowly, because a skunk will only spray a person if it feels like it's cornered or threatened. Then he said, you're about to be sprayed if a skunk stands on its front legs and wiggles its butt. But by then it's probably too late. Chitter, chitter. Logic said that the skunk spray doesn't smell bad. It's flammable too. I don't know if that's true. That's just another one of his lies. But if it is true, then once skunks figure out how light matches, us humans are in big trouble. Boom! If you're wondering what's happening in this picture, it's a skunk blowing some fire on some humans. So anyways, back to the story. When God created the animals, He gave them all cool stuff to defend themselves with, like shells and talons and claws. But when the time came to create people, all the good ideas were used up. Good luck. I guess God made it up for us by giving us big brains. But if it was up to me, I probably would have gone for quills. I figured if something as small as a skunk could scare off predators by smelling bad, then maybe it could work for me. And that's when I decided I'm not going to shower until I finish high school. I probably shouldn't have told Mom my plan though, because all it did was remind her I skipped taking a shower today. So now she's making me do one first thing in the morning. Sniff, sniff, bleep, bleep, blorp. Luckily, we had a few extra hot dogs in the camper van, and Dad cooked them over the fire. But I kept thinking about that skunk. So I was already a little jumpy when all of a sudden we got sprayed. Whoosh! But it wasn't a skunk that sprayed us. It was one of our neighbors. Apparently, 9 o'clock is lights out at camp. And I guess people around here take that pretty seriously. So I turned in for the night, but I didn't really sleep. Because like I said before, those economy putters were packed together tight. Sunday. It turned out the whole camp was early to bed, early to rise. We didn't even need to set our alarm clocks because our neighbors let us know which time was it to wake up. Believe it or not, some guy was doing wood carvings on his pitch. I wanted to give him a good piece of my mind. But when I saw the chainsaw, I figured maybe I could let it slide this one time. After Dad got out of bed, he started cooking pancakes and eggs on the griddle. Mom was just getting back from the shower block, and she gave me the scoop on how things worked there. She said you had to pay for the shower with coins, and gave me a few. Then she told me that I needed to stop by the laundrette and move her clothes from the washer to the dryer. I didn't really like the idea of taking a shower in a public building. When you live in a house with your family, the bathroom is the only place you can get any privacy. So when I'm in there, I'm in my own little world. And once that door is locked, I can do anything I want. Are you almost done in there? Jingle. And flossing. But sometimes I get myself troubled in the bathroom. And sometimes once I almost broke my ribs when I was pretending to be Spider-Man in the shower. Gah! Slide. When I arrived at the shower block, the line was already wrapped around the building, and I got to know my fellow campers a little better than I wanted to. Scritch, scritch. I figured the line would split at the entrance, and guys would go one way and the girls would go the other. But it turns out this place didn't have those kinds of boundaries. Bucks and does. I found out the reason the wait was so long because there was only 3 shower stalls inside. When it was finally my turn, I put 25 cents in the coin slot on the stall door, and that got the shower going. The hot water felt good, especially since I hadn't had a hot shower in a few days. But I couldn't really enjoy it since the stalls only went so high. I closed my eyes and tried to pretend I was by myself, but that was kind of hard to do when the person in the next stall started getting chatty. That's raspberry silk shampoo? Sniff, sniff. I decided to wrap things up and get out there, but the shower stopped before I had a chance to rinse the shampoo out of my hair. Ding! It turns out 25 cents only paid for 3 minutes of hot water. I tried to hand the next person in line a coin to put in the slot, but I couldn't really get his attention. Dig, dig. Please give me a coin. So I stepped out of the shower to put the coin in myself. But I guess that was the opportunity this guy was waiting for. Zip. And what really stunk was when he started using my shampoo. Rattle, rattle. I didn't feel like getting into an argument with the naked guy, so I left. But some soap suds got into my eye and I could barely see where I was going. Blink, blink. Luckily, I found my way to the laundrette and where there was a sink, and that water was free. Once I finished rinsing the shampoo out of my hair, I started looking for clothes. But someone had taken them out of the washing machine and dumped them on the floor so they could put their clothes in. After I put my clothes in the dryer, I decided I was gonna stick around the washing machines and find out who dumped their stuff on the floors when they came to get theirs. But when I saw who it was, I thought maybe I could let things slide one more time. When I got back to our pit, all I wanted to do was crawl back into bed. But Mom said we were all going down to the lake and I needed to put on my swimming shorts. I reminded her that I didn't have swimming shorts anymore. I was hoping that I was gonna get off the hook. But Mom said that Roger had a spare pair. Even though I'm not a fan of wearing someone else's clothes, I knew there was no point in debating her about it. I figured if we splashed around the lake for a few minutes and acted like we were having a good time, Mom would be satisfied and let us go back to the camp. But she took her camera with her, and that always complicates things. This summer, Mom's been spending a lot of time on social media, and whenever she sees how perfect her friend's family look, it makes her jealous. So Mom always puts us in these awkward poses to make it look like we're having a good time too. But there must be something wrong with my family because we could never get our act together. Ack! Bzzz. And the lake looked calm and peaceful when we first saw it from the bridge, but today it was a whole different scene. I was expecting the lake to be clear, like the one at the fish hatchery, but it looked dirty to me. And that's probably because people weren't just using it for swimming. Scrub, scrub, brush, brush. I thought people were acting kind of crazy at the pool yesterday, but at the lake it was a whole different level. There was a rope swing attached to a big tree that went out into the river, but I wasn't planning on using that thing unless it rained for a few days first. There were some rafts floating in the middle of the lake, and I thought about grabbing one, but I changed my mind when I saw how people were using them. Oof! There was a ramp at the bottom of a big hill by the lake, and I couldn't tell what it was for. But my question got answered when some kid launched himself into the water with a tractor tire. So anyway, guys, this will be the end of the video. I hope you liked it. And hey, like I told you at the start, please subscribe with all notifications on and like. Because, just do it. Anyways, bye!